Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulite's going to try to do a walk and talk. I was recording inside the museum, but there were a group of young people who wanted to explore the echo chamber effect inside the museum. So I just want to do a quick walk and talk and kind of recap some of the highlights from the event that I was at. You might notice in the background that we're set up. This is the 35th anniversary of African World Festival. So the museum is getting prepared. I think that starts tomorrow. I'm not really sure. It's still quite warm outside, so let me come out of my jacket. Okay, the piece that I just came from was Reparations, celebrating the birth of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. Today marks 130 years of age that he would be if he was still alive. Featured speakers were Don Rojas and Hazel Ross Robinson. And the book that was featured was Randall Robinson's The Debt, What America Owes to Blacks. As part of the introduction, there was a discussion about the fact that our leaders have been and continue to be internationalists. We are a global people. Like Garvey, there was a mention of a book called The Counter-Revolution of 1776, which kind of talks about the fact that Washington wanted to maintain the system of enslavement. I am like a magnet for loud talkers today. We're just going to kind of move away perhaps and see if we can keep going. There was talk about Detroit being the seat of resistance. Garvey had 7 branches here of his United Negro Improvement Association. Ross Robinson, she spoke. She talked about the Wright Museum as a jewel in African American world's crown, and also considers this space to be sacred ground. She said she's going to be reflecting on the legacy of Garvey, reparations quest, and also the Wright Museum's global historical journey. The importance of cooperation and collaboration. There was mention of the fact that in 1938, Marcus Garvey gave a speech in Nova Scotia, which is quoted in Redemption Song, which is sung by another Jamaican whose name, Rastafarian. Dang, I don't know why I'm blanking on this man's name. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, Bob Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds, is a quote from Garvey. Sorry. Whew, my arms are tired. I usually like to set up there so that I can rest my arm and have something to hold, have a tripod. There was talk about the power of our minds. Our minds are like God. Every man represents God in his mind, or woman represents God in her mind. We were given the intelligence to take care of ourselves. Only people together can survive. Garvey is Jamaica's first national hero. There was a picture of a North Carolina chain gang taken in the early 1900s, which demonstrates the continuity of slavery. Those people who were on that chain gang were children, black boys. The beneficiaries of the transatlantic slave trade must know how they have benefited. She talked a little bit about the history of St. Nevis and Kitts. Then Joanne Watson got up to introduce the next speaker. I think it was Ross. And she mentioned in her introduction that the national NAACP had tried to close down the Detroit branch of the NAACP. So that was kind of interesting to me. It made me want to research that. Talked about the fact that Garvey had mobilized more than 3 million dues-paying members. It was the largest organization of black folks, weekly newspaper. The Negro World was huge, a huge circulation that has not been matched by anything since then. It ceased publication in 1933. What else? There was talk about the fact that Conyers is the the longest serving member of Congress and the author of H.R. 40, which is the reparations bill that I think I've mentioned before. There was talk about, dang, I can't remember the name of the organization. I thought I had it written down. I'm trying to just hit the highlights, but kind of walking and talking creates a new challenge and a new opportunity. But this organization of Caribbean nations is a collection of 14 independent nations. I'm sure I'll come back to the name of it in my notes. There was talk about a piece that was done in Democracy Now! About the incident in Charlottesville, or one of the people who was a leader in Charlottesville is a leader in Charlottesville. There are monuments to the Confederacy all over the nation, and so there's a theory about why Charlottesville was targeted as a place. And part of that theory is that not only is this young man, who might be a council person or a vice mayor, not only is he advocating for the takedown of the monuments, but he is also advocating for and has created a reparations fund. They talked about France, the U.S., and other countries diplomatically and militarily demanding reparations from Haiti, that in 1947 that debt was finally paid off. CARICOM is the name of the organization. It's a Caribbean community of nations, 14 independent sovereign nations, headquartered in South America and in a place called Georgetown, Guyana. There was a question about what millennials should do. Ms. Hazel said that they should celebrate their strengths and celebrate the strengths of their colleagues and peers when they notice them. They should work together to overcome weaknesses, read about your global history, and also live by certain principles such as integrity, compassion, and humility. And the fact that Ta-Nehisi Coates' father is a Black Panther. So that's what I got. I think that this was also live streamed. Again, this is the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History, so you can hit their website. Today is August 17th, so you can hit it today, and I'll try to put the title of the event in my notes. That's what I got, Fabulites. Be you, be fabulous you. Thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Peace.